Nature Conservancy is a global conservation organization. We work in 36 countries, including Africa as one of the newest regions. We work in Asia Pacific, Latin America, and North America. Our programs are an array that include restoring oceans. We work on reducing impacts of climate change, securing fresh water, and conserving critical lands. In Africa, we've been operating as a regional program under the Nature Conservancy's global program since 2006. And initially, we started our work in Kenya, working with Conservancy pastoral communities in the northern rangeland area called the northern rangeland areas of Kenya. We've recently also started working in the coastal area of Kenya. And we've been partnering with government, as well as partnering with some other NGOs in Kenya on various aspects of conservation. In Tanzania, we have been we initially started a program in the Lake Tanganyika area. This is an integrated health and conservation project where we've partnered with Pathfinder and Jane Goodall Institution to work with communities around the Lake Tanganyika area to reduce the impacts on fishing stocks, and also interventions that reduce or help communities in those areas get access to a better reproductive health. In Zambia, where we also have another program, we're working in the largest ecosystem in Zambia, the Kafue National Park. We work with the park agency there, the Zambia Wildlife Authority, and also with community areas around the national park. The three countries I've spoken about, we've got actual field programs and offices there. But the Mozambique and Namibia, where we're also working, we've gone into partnerships with already existing local institutions. So in Mozambique, we're working with WWF on marine protected area management. And Namibia, we're supporting the Save the Rhino Trust. As a Nature Conservancy, we started looking at in Kenya, how do we structure an engagement of watershed management that's around private-public partnership. And this particular program, the core theme around it is how you can get partners to engage to develop an innovative way of protecting your watershed, particularly a watershed where a lot of your society or your population is going to be reliant on currently and in the future on the water. So the model that we're promoting in Kenya is one which looks at ensuring that you harness nature's ability to capture, filter, store, and deliver clean and reliable water, which Ray spoke about. So here you look at identifying the key players in the system. And on the right side, we've got contributors who are downstream users. And the watershed I will show you is downstream distributors are mostly private corporations that are using this water source. On the left side, you've got landowners who are in the upper shed of the water, the upper side of the watershed. And these are small scale, in the case I will show you, small scale farmers, mostly dependent on tea farming. So the model looks at getting the contributors to put in money into an endowment fund. And this endowment fund is then used to make better choices, pay what you'd call a payment for ecosystem service for landowners in the upper watershed to get better practices around their day-to-day practices that ensure the watershed is protected. Our impact is to ensure that we get a cost-effective solution where the water supply is naturally replenished and filtered and rural livelihoods are improved. So this model is governed through a water fund governance board. And this governance board has two key roles. It selects projects and distributes funds into the endowment funds. But it also plays a monitoring program because role because it's very important to ensure that this money is effectively used to monitor what is going on, particularly in the upper part of the watershed. So where have we gotten this idea from? TNC has been implementing this intervention in Latin America since 2000 and has gotten some success in Latin America in protecting watersheds. So we've had 7 water funds that have been established. There's a plan to have 25 new that are developing. And we've protected critical watersheds that have an area size of about 1.6 million hectares and are affecting 11 million people. These endowment funds that I spoke about in Latin America, we've created endowment funds, for example, in Quito, that's about $10.5 million US, and Monterrey in Mexico, which is between $6 million, and there's a target to increase it to even $28 million. So Nairobi Water Fund in Kenya is one of the first water funds in Africa that we're trying out, and we're using our expertise from Latin America to develop this in Nairobi. As we know, Kenya has a very fast-growing population, and the demand on water is increasing because of population increase, but also development is a priority. So Kenya was a very ideal case to start looking at this model. And in Kenya, the target is to raise about $15 million US in endowment fund. The plan is to launch this in 2015 and sustain 1 million hectares of land by working with 5 million agro-based households, mostly around tea farming. It's a watershed that's around the Upper Tana River, where on the right you have the Mount Kenya Mount Kenya National Park on the northeast. And then on the southwest of the Upper Tana River, you've got the Aberdare Forest. Mount Kenya is one of the second highest mountain range in Africa. It's critical for water and power supplies. It's important for wildlife and ecosystems. And also it's important for downstream farmers who are using this region. So the vision for this watershed is a well-conserved and managed watershed that provides water and power and economic growth for Kenya. And the priorities for the Nairobi Water Fund is to ensure there's good governance and the institutionalization is set up in this model. There's good watershed conservation, which is a key area. And there's a reward scheme designed so that at least it's using the incentive to get a rewardship for those people who use the watershed better. And finally, it's also getting to reward corporate stewardship. And that's where the strength of the PPP comes in. It creates stronger incentives for partners and players in the watershed to invest in the watershed. The model interventions we're using in the upper watershed, where we're working with the small-scale farmers, is encouraging and incentivizing them to use better practices around how they develop their agricultural products. So, for example, we're looking at landowners' willingness to invest in rainwater conservation and harvesting, and also ensuring that with the methods and interventions we're introducing at the upper watershed, there's a less demand for the river water, which reduces the pressure on it. The impact we're looking at, alternatively, is to ensure that we have a nice, good glass of water for people in this watershed, good quality water, and an adequate supply. And there we're working with Nairobi Water to ensure that is done, to have ensure that there's reliable power and better catchment for wildlife and people, and sustainable source of funding for the next 80 years. And the key is to also replicate this model in Africa, where the demand for water is going to increase as we go on. So this gentleman here he's a project ambassador for the Nairobi Water Fund, and he's a 3,000-meter record holder, so he has become the face of championing this cause in Kenya. The partnership dynamics, which I think is a very key message in this intervention to protect and ensure your watershed is managed, is how do you get these key players together on board to invest in this watershed management? So we've got various partners. We've got the supporting partners, IFAD, UNEP, the Small Grants Program of UNDP Kenya, CEDA Sweden, Coca-Cola Replenish Africa, and Kenyan government. And they've been key supporting partners to this program. And they've put the funding, Coca-Cola has put in some initial funding into this endowment fund, and it's really an investment funding that gets others to put in and buy into the investment. We've got the implementing partners, which are I spoke about the farmers in the upper watershed. Those are small NGOs working with farming communities, particularly tea growers who are also invested in it. And finally, we also have steering partners, which are in that governing body that I spoke about in the concept, that ensure that investments are targeted at the right projects, but also investments are targeted at ensuring that there's good monitoring.